Going live. Johnny Five is alive. How is everyone doing today? I hope I'm catching everyone in wonderful spirits. Um, I hope that if you haven't been in wonderful spirits, that I can find you and add a little bit of sunshine, or you find me and I can add a little bit of sunshine to your day. We all have rough days. We all um, go through our little mental gymnastics to make it through the day. So here's hoping for a great night, a nice relaxing night. For all of you who have been stopping by, commenting, sharing, liking, subscribing, hitting all on that bell notification, I want to thank you so much. It means the world here to Tully Television. If you have yet to subscribe, I hope that I can implore you to do that today. You hit that little red subscribe bar down below there. You hit all on that bell notification so you never miss an episode of Tully Television, the most unknown, underrated YouTube channel going today. Let's get into the stream. Fire account that I sell merch at. Um, but there we go. I hope I'm still on. Yeah. Looks like I'm still on. Yeah, I've left a link to my bonfire account down below. I mainly do shirts, but I've recently, within the last couple of weeks, have made a coffee mug. So check out. The winter's coming, the fall is coming, and we want to all have our little hot chocolates with the marshmallows and our coffees and our teas to keep us nice and warm during the cold weather. So maybe that coffee mug will help you along the way. And plus, any purchase done on the bonfire account, the money goes right back into the channel to help things like getting better equipment, helping my editor and I get together and produce better content for you. But it's all works hand in hand. You know what I mean, guys? I hope that, I can get you to check that out and see how it goes. But yeah, today we're going to be getting into the last Halloween themed stream for the month of 2021, Halloween 2021 season. I've come up with a couple of lists. I'd mentioned last Friday, because I did the stream last Friday instead of Thursday, because of watching a pay-per-view last Thursday afternoon and wanting to do the results of it and not be too tired for you guys. So I did the stream last Friday, but I mentioned then that I was going to do a top 5 list of like scream queens or actresses that were well known in their horror movie, in their horror movies, their parts. I have an honorable mention here or there in the lists. But yeah, let's start off with. Sorry, guys. Very rude, very rude. Sorry. Just been a long day. You know what I mean? Don't mind me, guys. Yeah, so as I was making these little bit of lists and stuff, I thought of this magazine that was out when I was growing up. And I will admit that I'm not too sure if this magazine still exists today. I'm going to look it up and see right now if it is or not. But there is this horror magazine called Fangora. And what the magazine was was that it would concentrate on horror, the industry of horror movies, and they would show you behind the scenes things, like how they would do the blood, how they would do the practical effects, because at that time, especially when I was growing up, there wasn't really much digital CGI, so a lot of it had to be shot right, to that degree. Um, I don't think it's still out though. Yeah, I don't think it's out anymore. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe it is. I don't know. Um, but I would show you a lot of practical effects, and I would have interviews with people who were involved in the horror industry and stuff, and it was pretty interesting. Pretty interesting. I don't know if there was any other magazines similar to that at that time, but I know Fangora was a pretty big one. And also with these lists, we forget that horror movies are, yes, primarily aimed for adults, older teenagers, that type of stuff. Um, Even though horror movies are mainly, I mean, they try to make some of them PG-13 so it can appeal to a wider audience while still having dark themes. But there's a couple of um, children's like horror books and movies that were based off the books. Goosebumps, and I'm sure everyone is aware of Goosebumps. R.L. Stein had written that series of books, and some of them were quite like entertaining. They made a series off of the books, and some of them, like I said, were really good. I happened to like the Slappy episodes of the Goosebumps because my brother and sister were kids at the time, so I would watch the Goosebumps with them, the show, and yeah, I preferred the Slappy episodes myself. I thought they were pretty interesting. I can't stand mannequin dolls, and I always have felt like these mannequin dolls and the other marionette dolls, where you kind of, deal with the strings and the cross on top to make them walk and stuff and move. I've always felt like those were secretly always alive, those dummies and those marionette puppets. And boy, oh boy, man, did I still have fear of them today in a way. And my other great fear is clowns. Clowns have always had a special place in my heart of fear and hating them at the same time. What are you hiding, clown? What are you hiding? You're not really that happy. You're just painting on that smile. What's going on in that brain? What are you hiding, Mr. Clown? Even if you think back and you look back, the original Bobo the Clown design that Willard Scott had played, that was kind of a terrifying clown if you really look back on it. And my grandmother would have these pictures and portraits of the sad clowns, where they just kind of dress like homeless bums, and the paint on them is sad. They'll cry, and um, that's really struck a chord with me. Probably, yeah, probably a lot of these clowns and puppets were from early subliminal things. That Freddy Krueger thing, you're right, in Dream Warriors, where he used the veins of the girl as puppet strings. I thought I mean, watching it first time was fucking scary as fuck. But looking back on it in hindsight, that was innovative as fuck. That's why it was scary as fuck. You know what I mean? Where it was so innovative, where holy shit, man, he's using her veins to do 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 do. So you're right. Some of these were probably embedded into me growing up. Like when I went to the circus, I never like cried over clowns or nothing like that. I never would cry or nothing. I would or bug out. I would just be like, okay, like thank you for like trying to haha me, but no, you stay there. You can squirt me with your flour if you want, but leave me alone. Stay over there, Mr. Clown. And you're right, the poltergeist clown was pretty fucking scary too. Um, like I said, the original, not the original was it wasn't Bozo the clown. Willis Scott did. I think it was Ronald McDonald. I think he was the first Ronald McDonald, and that getup was scary as shit. That was yeah, scary as shit. So yeah, like that's why I always had an affinity. She collected. Oh yeah, yeah. Well, yeah. My like I said, my grandmother would do the what do you call them? The Morceau clowns or something like that. I think it first got big in France or something, and then the images would go out to the rest of the world. The sad clowns. Nothing worse. Nothing is worse than a happy clown than having being a sad clown because it's really then nothing makes you happy. Unfortunately, yes, yes. All right. I originally thought it was Bozo the Clown, but as I was thinking about it, I was remembering this documentary of McDonald's I was watching, uh, and some of their early commercials they would do. The hobo mimes, yes, the hobo mimes. Those I found scary younger. Um, yeah, I just was never big on clowns or marionettes. I always had a fear of them coming to life. So when I got older and came across the Slappy, I thought they were entertaining because it was just scary enough for even me to be like, "Oh shit!" And last time we seen each other, we were talking about Dead Silence. That was a fucking great movie, especially if you're afraid of marionettes and the ventriloquist dummies and stuff like that. If you have a real fear of marionettes and love scaring yourself shitless, Dead Silence is the way to go on that one because it concentrates on the urban legend of Mary Shaw. Okay, and Mary Shaw in this town was trying to put on a performance with her new doll Billy, and usually, the polite thing to do in a ventriloquist act is even if you see the guy's mouth moving or the lady's mouth moving, you don't call them out on it because they're trying their best. You try to talk like you're not talking and have a conversation with yourself because that was like the big gimmick for a ventriloquist was to have a conversation sound so seamless with the other voice that it was as if that doll was alive, really. Bro, thank you for reminding me about Puppet Master. Puppet Master was good too, man. Um, I can't remember all the names of it, but I know there was like a drill head guy. There was see, it's been a long time since I've seen Puppet Master, so I can't really remember every um but I know there was like a drill head guy, like with a little drill on his head. And then I feel like there was one that was like dressed in like a black leather trench coat and he had like a pale face and white hair, like white wispy hair. I don't know if that was from Puppet Master or if that's from some other movie that I'm getting uh, cryptomnesia from. I'm thinking it's Puppet Master, but it's not. But Puppet Master, I remember seeing that when I was younger too, and I thought that was innovative. The little knots, yes, yes, the hook hand knots, Yahtzee. um, yeah, that was pretty innovative too because you would think that when it came to these type of things like the Puppet Master and Chucky, let's just say even because you think that these are so small, the toys that how the hell is a bunch of toys going to kill you? But when you're not expecting it, I guess toys can really uh, take you out. I mean, if you look at Toy Story real quick, especially the original one when Woody was trying to scare Sid to escape, it's scary. You know, you always imagined as a child, whatever, your toys being alive or these smaller things being alive. But when you actually see it, it freaks you the hell out. And it would be so embarrassing to die by like a handful of small toys. It would be horrible, so embarrassing. Yeah, so those little damn puppets, man, they took Bart out. Shame. You know, the big dude and such a little thing took him out. It would be embarrassing. It'd be embarrassing, you know what I mean? Yeah. There was this other show that Netflix recently put out within the last few years that was kind of like a Goosebumps. Um, it was kind of like a Goosebumps thing where they did these little horror stories, and I feel so silly for not thinking, looking it up because I wanted to look this up earlier. It was on Netflix. Um, shit, can't think. I have to try to look that up as I'm. Hold on a minute. Let's see here. Let's see if I can look this up. Netflix hit show because it was a really decent. I don't want to call it a ripoff of Goosebumps, but it was a pretty good show. You know, maybe my. Hey, no, remember that show we would watch on Netflix that was kind of like a horror show?
Yeah.
What was the name of that?
The Witching Hours or something.
Yeah, I think he's right. The Witching Hour, or something like that. Yes, the clown puppet made an animal balloon out of the intestines.
Let's see if we could maybe we could find another bell.
Sorry, my little guy had to come down for a minute. Figured I'd ask him, but I think he was called the Witching Hour or something like that. But yeah, those Puppet Master movies were pretty good. I remember them lasting a while. I think there was like at least 4 or 5 of them. Yeah, 4 or 5 of them. And then there was this recent movie that came out where it was called Robert. And it was kind of like, another ventriloquist type of movie where the ventriloquist dummy was alive. And yeah, like I said, I'm very very not big on them. Very not big on them. I'm trying to remember some more. Hellraiser was a good series of movies, horror movies. If you're looking into movies that are not really I mean, I'm not going to try to say that Hellraiser's not known, but if you've never seen Hellraiser, check those out. Um, but yeah, I wanna, let's see here. All right. So the top five uh scream queens that I have here. Um, like I said, I'm gonna give a couple honorable mentions. Um, but the first lady on the list is Jamie Lee Curtis. She has done such a great job, and pretty much The Boy was a creepy doll movie, and that first one was good because of the twist at the end. Um, I don't want to ruin it because it was a good twist at the end. At the end, although you find out the real deal Holyfield when it comes to the doll. But it had the lady who plays Maggie from The Walking Dead play the title character. Well, not the title character. She wasn't the boy, but she was someone that got called into a very fancy smancy place, and an older couple hired her to basically be the nanny to this doll that is named Brom, and they treat him like they're his son, their son. They treat the doll like it's their son, and some shenanigans occur. The doll moves on its own when she leaves and comes back. It's in a different spot. She hears movements, this, that, the other thing, but she can never physically see it moving. She becomes friendly with a local townsperson who kind of fills her in with that their son died in a house fire um, years before, and then there was some weird death that occurred around him and this girl. So they then this house fire happens and the son died from the house fire. And so, as he explained the legend to her, she is assuming that it's probably the ghost of the son moving around, and she understands why. Then they're like so infatuated with this doll because mentally they replaced their son with this doll. Interesting movie, good movie. That's a solid movie. I would definitely recommend that. The second one, not so much. Um, but yeah. Jamie Lee Curtis was up there as my number one scream queen, and now this isn't like a definitive list. This is just my list on who I consider some of the top actresses that come to mind when you're mentioning horror movies. So Jamie Lee Curtis in the Halloween movies definitely uh, great story arcs. Some of the movies were not as good as others. Some of my favorites were the original Halloween, Halloween 2, um, H2O, I liked. And then I did like Rob Zombie's first Halloween, but then the second one came out, and I was like, I'm not sure about that one. Uh, and then Danny McBride redid Halloween, and then Halloween Kills. This last Halloween Kills was definitely the best in a while. I would say Jamie Lee Curtis still has her acting chops. Um, she's done everything from drama to comedy to horror, but horror was her first really foray into becoming a mainstream actress the way she has become now. And on a side note, one of her more recent performances from the last few years was also excellent in Knives Out. She was excellent in that. I loved her in that. The next lady on the list is Neve Campbell from the Scream franchise. Now, Sydney, of course, started off as your ordinary teenage girl in America, a bunch of friends, loving dad. Tragedy struck when she witnessed her mother being murdered. She wound up falsely accusing someone of that murder. She was so adamant on it, even though there was some evidence that would dictate that Knives Out was good. Fucking good. I love Chris Evans in that movie. It's good to see him playing a badass. He's such a slick-looking dude, a handsome fella. Probably smells of citrus and lavender, and he was just a bastard in that movie. I love it. That's America's ass, though. But Neve Campbell, she then, even though there was some evidence against what she was claiming, it winds up, long story short, it winds up being like near the anniversary of her mother's death. The overall cast was good. It really was. It was great. It came together excellently. Everything. That movie, Knives Out. Even though that's more of I consider that a drama with some sprinkles of comedy in there. For sure. Good movie. Good movie. But yeah, to see the progression of Sydney from the first Scream to the last Scream. That's right, Don Johnson. I like Michael Shannon. There's this one movie I've been wanting to see of his forever, Michael Shannon, and I can't. Every time I remember it, I forget it the next day to look up. And I think it was called The Midnight Special or The Midnight Show. And it was about, I think, him trying to protect his son who had some type of powers, and him trying to, from what I was getting at the time, trying to protect his son away from some of these people who were trying to use his son. Don Johnson, I mean, Miami Vice is a classic. A lot of fashion came out of that show. Decent acting, you know what I mean? I like Don Johnson. And on a side note, his daughter, Dakota Johnson, which I didn't know they were related at the time until the movies came up. His daughter, Dakota Johnson, was in 50 Shades. The 50 Shades of movies there. So I always wondered how I would feel as a father, knowing my daughter did these type of movies. I mean, I know it wasn't. I mean, it's the equivalent of softcore porn, I guess, because I mean there was some really explicit scenes in that movie. Her first role was a Klansman in Bad Boys. Dakota Johnson? So? Or, yeah, was it? Is that who was in the Bad Boys as a Klansman? Yeah, but I always wondered, man. I always wondered how it was, how it'd feel to be a father. I mean, because man, I don't want my kid out there like that, but to each their own, I guess, when it comes to that type of stuff. I mean, not for me. We're actually Michael Shannon. Yes. Michael Shannon. That's I forgot he was in Bad Boys. Damn, that was a long time ago. That was a long time ago. You know what you know which actor he reminds me of, Michael Shannon, a little bit. I don't know why, because they don't really look alike like that. But this actor that was in this show called Grounded for Life, and he was also in Pineapple Express and some other movies. But uh, Uncle Eddie, I think his name was in Grounded for Life, the brother in Grounded for Life. That was a great show too, Grounded for Life. That was, I don't know why that show didn't last longer than it did. I thought that was like a good mix of. It reminded me of Malcolm in the Middle, and it reminded me kind of like a mix between Roseanne and Malcolm in the Middle. And the mother and daughter in that show was like holy smokies, bro. They were smoking hot, and poor, like geez, man, imagine being the daughter's boyfriend coming in and being like, holy moly, that's what you're gonna be looking like in about 20 years. Oh man, this is gonna be a fun time. So, but yeah, the uncle in that movie, yes, 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 Goodfellas. Goodfellas was fucking good too, man. Goodfellas was fucking great. That was, um, you had remind me to tell you a story about Goodfellas that I can't really talk about here. Um, but next time we see each other, remind me to tell you something about Goodfellas. Yeah, geez, that was. I haven't watched that movie in forever too. But yeah, he was in Goodfellas. He was the brother or something like that in there too. Yeah, yeah. Well, you know how certain things work when, especially if it's about the family. You know what I mean? You never talk about the family out in public. Oh man, some nice tart lemonade. Um, yeah, but Nev Campbell and Scream was great. Um, Heather Lagenkamp, Lagenkamp. Um, in the Nightmare on Elm Street movies, she's been in a few of them. Great. I love her performance in it. She was that sweet, innocent teenager who became badass throughout the movie and in other movies. Um, I was watching something on um, YouTube about Nightmare on Elm Street. These little did you know these type of facts, and if you remember, she would get a streak of white in her hair because of all the stress. They were intending on having her all white hair by the end of the movie, and there's even a picture of her with the wig on, and it looked fantastic on her. It was that just that perfect shade of white on her, and it didn't make her look old or anything. It just made her look stressed out. You know what I mean? Which was the purpose of that wig. I don't know why they didn't go with that, but yeah, very interesting look that would have been. Um, yeah, she did great in those movies. Again, you want that innocent teenager becoming a badass at the end of the movie. Uh, the good girl always wins out. Um, the next one is Karen Black. Now, Karen Black has been in a ton of movies. but who I identify her as the most is Mother Firefly from the Rob Zombie trilogy of the Firefly family. She was in the first one, and I believe she was in the second one for a little bit in the some throughout the movie. In the second one, I have yet to see the third one, the Three from Hell or something like that. But Karen Black did great in those movies as Mother Firefly. She really gave me chills with those performances because, you know, we seen the children being deranged, but she, you know, they had to learn that from somewhere. You know what I mean? What did she teach them? And this could be a possible. All right, that's right. That's right. She does get killed in Devil's Rejects by the brother, right? The cop brother or something like that. Brother died in the first one, and the brother of the first guy came to try to exact revenge. So you're right. You're right. But I'm not one for trying to do prequels and this and that. But with how sinister and gory the Firefly family was, because we forget too that they had. I'm assuming that there was their brother Tiny, the big guy in the first one. You had Captain Spaulding, you had Baby, you had the other guy that likes to wear other people's faces as his face. Um, you know, how was she teaching them? You know, it's so if you wanted to make a Otis, yes, Otis. Thank you. I always forget his name for some reason. Um, again, I know the prequels and this and that, but I think a Mother Firefly prequel could be interesting enough to carry a story with it because we don't really see Papa Firefly around, uh, at least in the first two movies. And admittedly, I've yet to see the third one, so I don't know if they make a reference to their father in the third one. But you can kind of maybe do a little prequel of Mother Firefly and the father in the beginning, how they met, you know, and what they would do to exact horror and fear into people. Because this wasn't them just committing crimes. The Baby and Otis and Captain Spaulding and them, they weren't like committing crimes to survive. Like they were seeking out to inflict torture and pain on people, and they did it well. They did it well, and that whole Firefly setup was spectacular. And all right, so Spaulding was the all right. Maybe okay, maybe you're right. Maybe you're right. Maybe Spaulding was the father because he was older too. Yeah, he was older too. See, I always thought they were like siblings. Well, at least I know Baby and Otis were siblings. But I thought Captain Spaulding was maybe like an older brother or something. But he could have been the father too. You know what I mean? Where I just know that holy fuck, man, you come across one of these motherfuckers, you're in for a long fucking night. Put it that way. You know what I mean? Jeez. um the last lady on the list, well, the last lady in the top five that I wrote was Lynn Shay. Okay. This is one of these actresses, Lynn Shay, where you see her in fucking everything, but can't remember the hell her name is. And it took me forever to be like, she's been in almost everything. It seems like Critters, Nightmare on Elm Street, the Insidious movies, that's where I think she kind of started getting bigger and well known as a main actress. It was in the Insidious movies. She was in The Grudge, Tales of Halloween, and even though this was not a horror movie, if you're not a horror fan, you may know Lynn Shay as the old lady in Something About Mary, who was always tanning and smoking cigarettes with the little dog. Mary's old lady friend. That's Lynn Shay, but she really made her presence known in horror movies across decades. You know, she's been around. Shit, Critters was Nightmare on Elm Street and Critters was the 80s. You know what I mean? And there might have even been movies dating back to the 70s that she was in. So that's why I added her on this list for my personal top 5, just for her and Karen Black's legacy, because I know Karen Black has been in a lot of movies prior too. My honorable mention is going to be Sarah Michelle Gellar in I Know What You Did Last Summer. I think they kind of did her an injustice with her death was awesome. And I Know What You Did Last Summer, but I was kind of hoping that she would be the main focus. Jennifer Love Hewitt kind of. I like Jennifer Love Hewitt. She did good in Party 5 and stuff, but I just wasn't really feeling her in I Know What You Did Last Summer. I just know that Sarah Michelle Gellar was the movie stealer for me, and she had such a great death. Lynn Shay was the sister of Bob Shay, owner of New Line Cinema, her first role. Yeah, so that's right. So, all right, so Elm Street was her first role. So even if you think back from the 80s, and I'm going to do some math by hands, 80s, 90s, the 2000s, 2020. So 4 decades from then that she's still doing modern films, because Insidious is pretty modern. Those movies, the last Insidious didn't really come out that long. Yeah, so she's still doing modern films, and definitely like a legend in my eyes. You know what I mean? She's been around and everything. And of course, the only reason why I didn't add this next lady to the top 5 before I go on, I'm going to explain why, was because she's automatically well known. She's on everyone's. You don't even need to put her on the list. Elvira, the Mistress of Darkness. How can you not know who she is? Elvira, is actually a redhead. Sorry about the paper noises there. I'm done with that. Elvira was in. Her gig was, the big black hair and the skin tight black dress and the milky white skin and the boobs pouring out of the shirt, and the first goth queen I fell in love with growing up, and she's such a legend too. That the movie that she made where she inherits the house from some great aunt, and then she tries to some old man tries to get the book out of there, some spell book, because he wants to take over the town or whatever. And all the men love her in town, and all the women hate her. And I've seen this movie recently. One of the funnier scenes, in my opinion, in that I know how to talk. Elvira movie. One of the funnier parts to me was when she spiked the food at the outside Mistress of Darkness. Yes, when she spiked the food at the picnic that the town was having, and they just broke out in this big orgy. And afterwards, everyone felt so ashamed about letting out their inhibitions that they were going to burn her at the stake. And I love the standard '80s montage of them trying to fix the house and straighten it up and stuff like that, because all the boys in town thought she was hot to trot, and all the girls admired her for being able to be beautiful in a different type of way. You know what I mean? And not in your traditional way. Elvira was very goth, and she earned the name Mistress of Darkness. So she's transcended any list that you can make for women in horror movies or associated with horror. And if you look her up now, she's close to 70 years old, and she still looks fucking fantastic. It's crazy. Like, she's never aged. And she's a natural redhead. If you didn't know, the black hair is not the original hairdo. She looks pretty much the same outside of the red hair, and like I said, she still looks pretty smoking for almost 70 years old. I mean, I don't know how she's doing it. She must have really found a spell to stay youthful and rejuvenated out of all these years. But yeah, those were my top 5 ladies and honorable mentions for that. Let's see, I talked about the Fangoria magazine a little bit earlier when I first opened up this episode. We were talking about Goosebumps and that Netflix show that I feel like so I decided to do then like the top 5 male horror. I'm going to say icons this time. Because Scream Queens doesn't really sound as great as it does with males. I don't know why. Some of these I have on my list are also movie directors, also movie makers. So that's going to be the slight difference between the male one. Actually, yes, you're right. Heather O'Rourke is Carol Ann from Poltergeist. She's a classic too. The iconic scene that she had in there has been done multiple times by everybody, and you're right, actually. God, and the thing is, I just want to make sure I get this right, because yeah, she was 12. She was 12. She was, for those of you unaware, this movie had a lot of fucking big hits happen to it before, during, and after the making of this movie, and Heather O'Rourke was the little girl that was against the television saying, "They're here." And that was chilling, you know what I mean? She did great in that role, and it was a shame she died she died after the third one. Okay. All right. So I know there was the old lady that was in it. Did she die? Did she die afterwards too? Or some sort of, I know there were some accidents on set and stuff like that. It was like really felt like it was supposedly it was haunted on haunted ground, supposedly that they were filming on an ancient Indian burial ground. And that's why so many tragedies befell these people that were involved with the film. And but you're right, Heather O'Rourke should go on that list, even as an honorable mention, because that scene alone, her part alone. If you don't remember what happened in Poltergeist, you're gonna remember that little girl at the television telling everyone that they're here, and that was definitely spine tingling. She was a good little actress, and it was a shame that she had to go so soon from life. Sometimes the brightest stars fade the fastest, and man, too bad she's not around. She probably would have been a very accredited actress by now. She would, if she had stayed in the acting world, put it that way. So good one on you, Tim. There, the old man, the Indian guy, one of the directors, the sister in the first one, and the old lady. Yeah, yeah. So it was one, two, three, four or five people that, five, six people that really were affected bad around the time of filming and after filming. That it stayed with them because uh, it really. I don't really know for sure if it was on an Indian burial ground or not. That to me, I've always considered that like an urban legend type of story, but it could be true too. I'm not. I don't know it like that. I haven't really caught up with the lore and the things of Poltergeist like that. I just know that the original one was better than the remake. They did a remake a few years back, but I think Craig T. Nelson did a good job. The other actors and actresses did a great job. Uh, Craig T. Nelson just wanted to smoke doobs, man, and 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 enjoy his fucking house, man. That's all he wanted. I can certainly relate to wanting to smoke doobs and enjoy my house. And these motherfuckers want to. The skeletons were confirmed. Wow, wow, that's crazy. See, that's crazy. See, like I don't really. This movie, The Poltergeist, I don't really know the like really little intricacies that went into this movie like that. So that's mind blowing. They wouldn't. You would think that some of these things they wouldn't be able to get away with now, but damn, real skeletons. That's crazy though. That's fucking crazy, man. Fucking nuts. I don't know if they'd be able to get away with that today. I don't know. I don't know. But my top five guys here, and like I said, some of them are going to be actors, some of them are going to be movie makers. So that's why it's a little bit different this list than the list with the ladies. It's cheap. Go fucking figure. It's cheaper to buy cadavers than props. Wow. Wow. That's mind blowing. That's mind blowing. Shit, bro. Cutting corners? What a way to cut corners. Holy shit. Holy shit. That just blew my mind. Blew my mind. So the first guy here I'm gonna talk about is Kane Hodder. Okay, Kane Hodder was not the original Jason. Okay, uh, but he was the one that played Jason the most, and he's the best known Jason to date. Kane Hodder, I've learned in years, when he was younger, he was a stuntman, and he one of his gags was that he would set himself on fire and then put himself out. And this one day, this reporter was asking him questions and stuff, and he asked her, "Did you want to see the trick?" And for sharing giggles, she said, "Yeah, like, I mean, if someone offers to light themselves on fire, knows how to put themselves out, I would maybe want to see that, Um, he lights himself up on fire, and something happens to where he couldn't get himself out quick enough and got third-degree burns over a lot of his body. And it fucked with him for a long time because he was living with his father at the time, and his father wouldn't let him use pain medication to ease the pain of the new flesh, curing itself over itself. And yeah, he says he remembers how the skin smelt melting and the hair burning, and very traumatic for him. And it took him a long time to get back right from that. And what he does is he goes and visits children in hospitals that deal with severe burns and have to get skin grafts and stuff like that. He had to get a few skin grafts himself over time. Not only is he my favorite Jason, but he's just a badass in general because what he was able to survive and get through. And, I definitely give him a lot of credit for that. The next guy on my list is Vincent Price. Okay. Vincent Price to me is a classic horror guy. He's done movies like House of Wax, House on Haunted Hill, House of Usher, The Pit and the Pendulum, The Raven, Theater of Blood. He's in Edward Scissorhands. He also did the narration of Thriller by Michael Jackson, and he was one of the first people really associated with horror and being able to make a good career out of horror movies and stuff. I'm not saying like he was the first horror actor ever. Obviously, there was other horror actors. Scooby-Doo and Batman, yes. Right? You know what I mean? Like, Vincent Price has been around, bro, and it's a shame that maybe some of these newer generations won't really get to see his stuff because everything's got to be new and modern and now, and everything old is lame and boomerish. And oh my God, I'm not watching a movie from the 50s. You know what I mean? To where for me, growing up in the 80s and 90s, the 50s weren't that long ago. Compared to now, yes, it's forever ago, but I always had a fascination of past entertainment to see where it once was to seeing how it is now. And Vincent Price, if I can pick one person to live forever, I might just use it on Vincent Price. But then again, he'd have to make a strong case because if I ever had a chance to make any celebrity live forever, it would be Betty White. That's my wife right there. So, he would have to make a strong case, but he's a close second. He was in the original Fly too. I forgot about that. So a lot of classic movies with him. He had that really Great narration voice too. He had a really good look to him. Um, yeah, the smoke jackets he would wear, like, he was definitely menacing in his own way, and he's definitely up there for me in the top five of like horror, of male horror, associated with horror. The next guy I have here is Robert Englund. Robert Englund, aka Freddy Krueger. Without Robert Englund, Freddy Krueger would not have become the franchise it became over the years. That with the misfire of Nightmare on Elm Street 2, Freddy's Revenge, which I don't know why that was called Freddy's Revenge when you would think that his revenge would be on the actress from the first one, Nancy, right? You think his revenge would be on Nancy, not on this new guy. So Nightmare on Elm Street 2 was a little off. But I was right back to it in Dream Warriors and stuff. And uh, none, the humor, he had is unmatched, except for maybe Chucky with the one-liner quips. But even then, I don't think that he outdoes Freddy Krueger as far as the quips, the the puns, whatever you want to call it, the way he kills you. Um, Definitely one of the scarier uh, characters out there. Would not be the same, I think, without Robert Englund. I think the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise would have been not as big. The next guy I have is Wes Craven. Okay, Wes Craven has been around since A Dog's Age too. We were talking about the Scream franchise earlier, and he was behind that big franchise. Scream Scream was such a big franchise that everybody that was hot and popular at the time, as far as acting in the acting world was concerned, was that they wanted to be, in a Wes Craven movie, and how can you blame them? Like I said, Scream was fucking fantastic. Let's see, I want to see here. Nightmare on Elm Street was, again, we were just literally talking Nightmare on Elm Street. The Hills Have Eyes. Um, a lot of Last House on the Left, bro. That movie was crazy. The People Under the Stairs. Red Eye. Yo, that movie, Red Eye, was really good. It was really good. Shocker. Serpent in the Rainbow. I think I've heard of that. He did The Hills Have Eyes. Did he do both of them? He did both. Yeah, he has a lot of Chiller, Wishmaster, Pulse, The Breed. I'm not familiar with some of these. But yeah, he was getting revenge on the living by using the kid in the real world to get back at the parents that killed. All right. Mr. Holland's Opus was scary. No. It was scary. Hold my hand to me. So Wes Craven has he has a nice little list of movies there that you can catch up on. Besides the Scream movies and the Nightmare on Elm Street movies, the Hills Have Eyes movies were very um, tense too. You have to go into those movies. Like I seen the remakes of them first, and then I seen the original Hills Have Eyes. The remake of the Hills Have Eyes, the first remake, and then they did a part two. That whole trailer scene with the hillbillies, for lack of a better term, and the baby and stuff was really gut wrenching. The way they killed the father was gut wrenching. My Bella and Beast, the dogs, were some of my favorite characters in those movies too. The German Shepherds, great movies too. Very scary. Very uh, check them out. Check them out. And the last guy that I have on the list, and then I'll tell you who my two honorable mentions are. John Carpenter, okay, the guy who brought the world my favorite personal Halloween movie, Halloween, and John Carpenter, the way he made Halloween, I can't gush enough about it. The way it was written, the way it was performed, the story is simple yet complex. Dr. Loomis was one of the Laurie Strode, Dr. Loomis, The Thing. The Thing was good, actually. The Thing was really good. Um, yeah, Halloween, when he made that was fucking stellar. Let me see what else he got over here. Yeah, he's been around since the 70s making shit. So what else he got here? Because I don't want to just rattle off the famous shit he's done. I want to give a thing right. The Thing that was good too because you never got a solid ending on that. They Live was another great fucking movie by him. That was at Roddy Piper and being able to see past the subliminal stuff. Assault on Precinct 13. The Fog was good. Escape from LA, Starman. Village of the Damned. Christine. Yeah, the Halloween movies. Let's see. Yeah, In Search of Darkness. Some of these other movies I'm not too familiar with. But yeah, he had his nice little run too. Ghost of Mars, yes. Wife, LOL. Hey, wife, how you doing? Eternally grateful seas. I see you. You see what I did there? I did a pun. I did a pun because you got name C's in there. And then I said, I see you. Vampires was good, actually. That was really good. I just really think that some of these guys were really meant to bring their vision to life, and some of these guys were meant to be involved in horror. The honorable mentions I want to give. First one is George Romero. He did Day of the Dead, the zombie movies. He, to me, brought the zombie to the forefront of being scary and being something to fear because how can you kill these things that are already dead? You know what I mean? And Just yeah, George Romero did great with these. Everything that has zombies nowadays um, really comes from ideas that he put forth, and I really think that he definitely deserved an honorable mention. Rob Zombie as well, another guy who is talented. I'm not really big on his music, but someone that I'm not big on Rob Zombie's music, but Rob Zombie and his movies were good, so I really wanted to add him. And I just had somebody else come to mind to want to put on the honorable mention list because, damn, why can't I remember now? Because to be honest with you, there's just so many great horror movies and actors and actresses I'm not thinking of right at the moment. There's been so much that has been able to, so much to come from horror. I'm just trying to think. I mean, yeah, you got Boris Karloff that you can add as an honorable mention. He did, those old school movies. You had Bela Lugosi as Dracula. Um, a lot of yeah, like I said, a lot of actors that were definitely. It's really hard to say who really was the top, but those are some of my picks for. All right, Bela Lugosi, Bruce Campbell. Bruce Campbell, that's right. What's going on, Fernando? How you doing, brother man? I hope you're doing good today, my guy. Um, yeah, Bela Lugosi. Um, yeah, I'm the first one to admit I can't think of everything of everyone. There's probably hidden gems in my brain. Um, I'm doing great, brother. I'm doing great. Thank you. I'm glad you're doing good too. Chrissy and I had seen this one like a year or so ago, and I can't fucking remember the name of it now, but it was about two kids who inadvertently open a pit in the backyard to like hell or something, or to a dimension, and then they have to deal with it with the oldest sister or something. And then, like at the end of the movie, the dog died, but then they try to trick the kid into thinking the dog was alive, um, but he wasn't. Yeah, I forget. Man, the hell was the name of that movie? The Gate. The Gate. The Gate. Yes, The Gate. That was entertaining too. The Gate. I thought that was good. Um, Happy Death Day 1 and 2. I thought was a pretty innovative movie set there. I'm in the middle of watching Separation with Chrissy. The imagery has been good in that movie, Separation, but yeah, I haven't finished it yet. And I will say the biggest pop I got out of a horror movie the last few years that really uh, got my goat in a good way was Hereditary, where the daughter um, dies in a very graphic way. The daughter that's in that movie, and when that happened, it was like, holy shit, what the hell just happened? Because it was so unexpected and, like I said, graphic. Where it was like, holy crap, that was a good death scene from Hereditary. So as much as I like classic movies, there's some newer movies too that make me hopeful for the state of horror. Um, I really think that um, Malignant, I really that gave me extra hope because that was such an innovative movie too. It's really sad that they didn't market that movie better because um, that movie was great, especially near the last half hour, 40 minutes of that movie. Basically, starting with her in the jail cell to near the end was fucking fantastic. How they did that. Um, so ultimately, what I'm going to do now, before I start getting ready to sign off for the night, um, I have my top 5 ultimate horror list of movies to watch for Halloween. And again, this doesn't mean that there's not better movies out there, um, or that people have not a better list, or do have a better list. This is just my list. You know what I mean? This is my list of movies that I like to try to catch every year, even if it's for a half hour or something, for sharing giggles, and remind myself why I love horror movies so much. And who knows, maybe by next year this list will change. You know what I mean? Ooh. So my top 5 horror movies to try to watch during Halloween, and try to watch these movies this weekend if you haven't watched any of these yet. We've mentioned plenty before in the stream here too of what to watch. But number 5, Bela Lugosi's Dracula, Vampire. You know, that was great. He did such a wonderful job in that. You feel the dread and tension in that movie. So Bela Lugosi as Dracula, go watch that. The original Nightmare on Elm Street, give that a shot if you have yet to watch it. Make it this year. Nightmare on Elm Street, classic movie, classic death scenes. It's where Johnny Depp's career started, so how can you go wrong with that? I love me some Johnny Depp. So yeah, Nightmare on Elm Street. Number 3, the movie Saw. When that Saw first came out, I thought that was such an innovative way to portray the main villain, the main antagonist, the horror. He became a horror legend. John Kramer, aka Jigsaw, the way he would kill his victims, the way he would carry out his games. Fantastic movie. Now, did some of the timeline get convoluted later on in this franchise? Possibly. Okay, but that original Saw movie, excellent. Next one, House of a Thousand Corpses, number 2 for me. Again, a really, you feel the dread coming. You feel visually it's scary looking at it. It really makes you wonder how many people and families are really like that out there, or you come across the wrong family and you could have did nothing wrong, but because they're bored and they're living in existential dread themselves of what they are and who they are, that they just do things, horrible things to people. And that's why I love House of a Thousand Corpses, because this could really happen. It's really happened type of stuff. And my number one horror movie of all time that to watch during Halloween is Halloween 19, from 1978. I've given you guys a million and one reasons why I love the movie, but only you can find out yourself by watching the movie yourself and realizing just how tension filled it can be, and how you can feel Laurie Strode's fear and scariness. You can feel Loomis's dread when he speaks about Michael. That dealing with Michael for all those years has killed Loomis and the man he once was and what he tried to become by being a psychiatrist. But dealing with Michael, it changed him. Whenever you come across Michael Myers, you change forever. You know what I mean? You change forever. Even in they explain that even in the Halloween Kills movie that recently came out, that there's a Michael Myers survivors group, and one kid from the beginning of the movie came across Michael Myers, and Michael Myers didn't even do anything to him, and that kid needed lifelong therapy because of the fear that was instilled into him. You know, the things that happen to people that just cross his path are life altering. You know what I mean? Freddy Krueger, he just comes after you in your dreams. You know what I mean? Michael Myers comes across a random person and kills them or maims them, and it changes that person's life and his or her family's life forever. And that's why I love Halloween so much. And Michael Myers, it's just he is a unrelenting force. Um, he was made for one thing, and that was for killing and slashing. And he does it well. He does it well. And an honorable mention I'll give for that list is Friday the 13th. Okay, the original one as well. I love Jason. I love the Friday the 13th series. But what I love about the first one so much, and it kind of conflicts with the continuity of the other ones, yes. But in the original Friday the 13th movie, Jason was not the killer. It was his mother, Mrs. Voorhees, as she took revenge on the camp counselors that decided to reopen the camp all these years later after her son had died in a tragic drowning accident. She was able to get the camp closed, and when they decided to reopen the camp, that's when she decided to scare people away again and commit these acts of violence against these teenage counselors. Kevin Bacon was in that movie. Not sure if it was his first movie, but one of his first movies, Kevin Bacon. And I thought it was an original concept. You just then wonder, where was Jason the whole time in that first movie if he came in the second one? You know what I mean? But then you kind of just have to, maybe he was hiding, and when the mother died, that's when he decided to come out. You can kind of see that. But yeah, last Halloween themed stream of the month. Next week we're going to be getting into some random things. Maybe I'll come across a few uh, Thanksgiving themed movies that will be fun to watch during the Thanksgiving weekend. Or I may do that closer to Thanksgiving. But yeah, I'm going to definitely try to find something else different to talk about because I know the last 3 weeks and this week was all horror, 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 horror October streams. But that's how much I love Halloween and horror movies. It's one of my favorite genres. It's a great release for everyone, I think, to watch a fun horror movie and cut off some steam. Not like mindlessly chomping on some popcorn and watching a slasher film for an hour and a half and have your partner, your girl, whatever, your partner jump in your arms when they get scared and cuddle with you and stuff like that. And uh, hopefully it'll lead to some smoochy time. You know what I mean? Get to do your taxes. Maybe you'll get to do your taxes. You know what I mean? You want to do your taxes? You listen to me. Oh, man. I'm a fucking idiot. Don't listen to me, but listen to me. You want to do your taxes? Hey. You want to do your taxes? You listen to Uncle Pot over here. This is what you do. You put off the lights. You put on the scary movie. You get the popcorn. You get the IPAs. You get a little maybe one thing leads to another, and you're doing your taxes. You know what I mean? I want to thank everyone for stopping by tonight, guys. It's been a really fun stream. I'm glad that I was able to last a little longer tonight. That's what she said. Yeah, it was a really fun month of streams. I hope that I was able to bring some joy and fun into your lives tonight because you guys do that for me. You bring joy into my life. You bring happiness into my life just by being around, and if no one has told you guys today, you're doing a great job, okay? Whatever you're going through, whatever hassle has been coming your way, maybe your boss is busting your balls, you know what I mean, at the job. Maybe the old lady is busting balls for you to take out the garbage at home and put up the new blinds. Maybe the kids are busting balls about the new fucking G.I. Joe with the Kung Fu grip, okay? Whatever it is, you're going to get through it. You will get through this. This too you shall overcome. Don't ever forget that, guys. And Fernando, I just seen your question, and I'm going to answer your question. I did watch Crown Jewel, and I liked Crown Jewel overall. I think that the majority of people that I did talk about it last stream, but the majority matches of people that I wanted to win did win. Becky Lynch won, which was I was happy over that. Roman Reigns winning, I was still I'm glad that he won, but I thought they were going to have Brock win. I liked that Xavier Woods won. I loved that Edge won in that Hell in a Cell. It was a good choice for having the Usos win. And yeah, I think it was a really solid pay-per-view. I'll give that pay-per-view an 8 out of 10. The only thing I don't like is that they're doing it in Saudi Arabia. But however, you got to make your money, I guess, in a way. When you're dealing with hundreds of millions of dollars, you might forego some of your morals and ethics, you know what I mean, to make sure that your family is comfortable and future generations of your family is comfortable. So I don't know. But sticking with the wrestling part, it was a great pay-per-view. I give it an 8 out of 10. I love that Big E won. I feel good for Big E. I hope he continues to reign as champion for quite some time. And I can't wait to see some of these new rivalries going on after now the draft has taken place. And we'll see how like Drew versus Roman looks and some of these other title matches go in the future. Brock Lesnar is probably going to win the Royal Rumble. Just saying. But yeah, that was my thoughts on Crown Jewel. 8 out of 10. Great matches, great card. Really an excellent pay-per-view on an overall thing. Can't wait. Exactly. Can't wait for Survivor Series is next. And then Royal Rumble, I think, is coming up after that. Because I think they canceled the December pay-per-view. But I think they're doing something on New Year's Day or New Year's Eve. Not sure. But I want to thank everyone for stopping by, liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing, all that beautiful stuff. It means the world to us here on Tully Television. Everyone behind the scenes, in front of the screens, thank you all for stopping by. If I have yet to catch your subscription, I hope today was the day. Yes. When he F5'd Adam Pearce, that was a pretty nice little. He does that move so smoothly. But yeah, thank you all, everyone. It really means a lot. Means a lot to us here. Thank you so much. I'm forever grateful for you guys. And until next time, peace, Snookums. Yeah.